Good evening. I'm Bill Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and I'm pleased to welcome you tonight to our February 10th, 2021 meeting of the Brighton Town Board. We are conducting the meeting remotely on Zoom as we have been throughout the pandemic. We're broadcasting live on our Spectrum Cable Channel 1303, and we are live streaming on our YouTube channel, all in compliance with Governor Cuomo's executive order issued at the start of the pandemic last year, modifying some of the provisions of the open meetings law to enable local government bodies to continue to meet remotely. Every meeting, we start with an open forum. If people have a question or a comment, they can call in to 303-3060, and their comment or question or concern will be passed along to me. We also continue to make our meetings accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community with our ASL sign language interpreters. And again, tonight, we have Allie and Heather with us. Thank you both very much. Heather is batting leadoff tonight. All of the materials we're reviewing tonight, as well as tonight's agenda, are available for your review on the town webpage, www.townofbrighton.org. As always, I will start tonight's meeting with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to start with, again, another update on COVID. We're getting a lot of questions about vaccines. I'm sure some of you are as well. Vaccinations are continuing for people in Group 1B, people who are over the age of 65, people who work in various different industries. And very honestly, the process of continuing to immunize Group 1B will likely continue for quite some time, particularly as more people continue to be added to that group. As you probably read, as of next Monday, February 15, people with certain immune compromised conditions will be allowed to be vaccinated regardless of their age, and appointments for vaccinations of those people will be available starting on Sunday, February 14th. But I think it's obviously anybody that has tried to sign up for a vaccine knows the demand far out exceeds the supply of vaccines right now. Those programs are either being run by the state or the county. And it's very challenging. I think that's going to change over time. We're seeing more vaccines coming available, but it is going to take some time. And I don't really have a lot of good advice for people other than if you are eligible, if you're in that Group 1B and haven't already been able to get an appointment for a vaccination, I really want to encourage you to continue trying. Now, I talked about groups being added. One group that I have advocated to have added to Group 1B, and so far that has not happened, is highway workers. As of now, highway workers do not have access to Group 1B, And of course, this time of year, we just had a pretty good snow last week. We may have another pretty good snow event next week. And our workers have been very careful. We've been very fortunate. Kudos to you, Mike, and to all of our highway and sewer workers who have been very, very careful. And we have continued to be able to provide the kind of great plowing, snow and ice control, and other services that our highway department is known for. If we were to have an outbreak of COVID in our highway department and a significant snowstorm, while we have talked with other communities about sharing resources, but if we were to have a major snow event and a COVID event among our workers, it could prevent us from adequately plowing and salting all of our roads. That could obviously prevent, Elmwood Avenue hits right to the medical center. I believe, and I will continue to advocate for our workers to be able to get those vaccines, so they will continue to be able to work on the job for us. The numbers in our area continue to improve. That's great news. But that does not mean that the COVID emergency is over. It does not mean that we can let our guard down. I strongly encourage anybody that can get an appointment for a vaccine to do so. I also encourage people to continue to be tested regularly, particularly if you have reason to believe you may have come into contact with someone with COVID. Now, the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines that are available have been very thoroughly tested. I said this 2 weeks ago. We know from the history of smallpox and polio that vaccines are the way that these terrible viral diseases are controlled and hopefully eliminated. So please, if you can get a vaccine, please do. I think it's great to see the pop-up vaccine locations that have been serving underserved communities in the city. We're going to see more. That needs to continue. That's a good start. Rapid COVID testing continues to be ongoing here in Brighton at Temple Brith Kodesh every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 to 3:30. Again, kudos to Mike, to Chad, to the police department, who've all been keeping that program going smoothly. Every Friday afternoon, you can pre-register for the Temple Brith Kodesh testing for the upcoming week. And here in Brighton at Temple Brith Kodesh, pre-registration is mandatory. You must sign up and be registered in advance. Why is testing still so important? One, because obviously the data that we generate from testing, we're seeing that every day. We're seeing the numbers, we're seeing the percentage of positivity go down, but that data gives Dr. Mendoza and our other public health experts the data they need to make decisions on whether it's safe to open up businesses, whether it's safe to open up schools, athletic events, and the like. But the second reason, of course, is that even with these lower levels, some non-symptomatic people every week, every session, test positive. And we want to make sure we catch those people. We want to make sure that they are isolated and are aware that they have COVID. So for both of those reasons, it's so important, particularly if you have reason to be concerned that you've been in contact with people, or if you're just out, the nature of what you do. I want to encourage people, get tested, and you can do it here at Temple Brith Kodesh. Earlier today, I was part of a webinar celebrating the role of Afro-Latino, the Afro-Latino community in the law, all as part of Black History Month. The webinar focused on the significance of the Black diaspora, particularly as it related to the Afro-Latino community and how that community, through the diaspora, came to this country from Africa, largely through Central America and through Caribbean nations. Great program on how Afro-Latino families have preserved and honored their family histories, their particular heritage, their Black histories. As part of the materials for this webinar, I particularly noticed an opinion piece from the Washington Post, written last year by now Congress member Richie Torres from the Bronx. Congress member Torres is the first LGBTQ Afro-Latino member of Congress. And he wrote about what were unwritten rules that would have permitted him to join the Congressional Black Caucus or the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, but not both. Essentially, those unwritten rules would have forced him to make a choice as to what part of his heritage he would honor through membership in that caucus. He raised the issue very publicly in that Washington Post editorial, and as a result, that unwritten rule came down. He was able to bridge that gap, and while now serving in Congress, he is serving as a member of both of those caucuses. I think it's a great example of how change happens when people knock on that door hard enough, and change has happened. Now, Black History Month, African American History Month, helps us recognize the personal achievements and accomplishments of people like Congress member Torres, people like former Congress member Shirley Chisholm, trailblazing individuals. But they also teach us during African American History Month about the entire sweep of Black history that so many of us, white and Black, are not taught in school. So we wind up learning it in Black History Month or when current events bring the past up to date. Things like the Tulsa Massacre, the role that the Buffalo Soldiers, the Tuskegee Airmen, played in defending our country in war and our military history. Black cultural icons like our own William Warfield from Rochester, and so much more that frankly were not taught in schools. But Black history is American history, period. And I think we all have an obligation to work to ensure that Black history matters, because it does matter. It is American history. And we need to keep that message, because that's how we learn about the history of our nation, the accurate history of our nation. I do have a proclamation tonight recognizing February as African American History Month. I will read it. Whereas since its inception in 1976, Black History Month, African American History Month, has become increasingly influential in educating our citizenry about the significant contributions African Americans have made to the social, scientific, and cultural growth of our nation. Whereas the 2021 theme for African American History Month is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity, exploring the resilience of African American family life from the diaspora and the time of slavery, when families were brutally torn apart and every member treated as a commodity, to the present day impacts of systemic racism on the Black family. Whereas African Americans have managed to create community and forge familial bonds despite the pressures of inequality, poverty, migrations from the South to the Northeast, Midwest, and West in search of employment and a better life, and often back. And whereas throughout our history, the African American community has always exhibited an unwavering understanding of the value of family as an incomparable source of comfort, strength, and survival, demonstrating how family is a critical underpinning of society and how notions of family can evolve and strengthen in the face of tremendous loss. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Supervisor of the Town of Brighton, on behalf of our entire Town Council, do hereby recognize February 2021 as African American History Month in the Town of Brighton and embrace the opportunity to broaden our knowledge and pay tribute to the African American history experience, particularly the role of family and its resilience. And again, let me say, Black history matters. Black history is American history. And this proclamation is signed today, February 10, 2021. Okay, we will go to the open forum. We have received a call from Mr. Howie Jacobson. He has raised issues relating to the easement behind the Whole Food construction location. That easement is a matter of litigation, and therefore, while I appreciate and I think it's important to acknowledge that Mr. Jacobson did call about that matter, because it is a matter of litigation, it is not something that I can respond to here at this time. I don't believe we have heard from anybody else concerning the open forum, but as we always do, I will, if anybody would like to call, they can, but I want to continue with the business meeting, and we'll start with communications. Chris, can you move on the communications, please? I'm sorry, let me go back to approval of the agenda. I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead. You're muted though.
Bill, I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Christine, that was? Thank you.
Yes.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. Communications, Robin?
I move that we accept the communications.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second, Jason.
We have good news in the communications tonight. We have correspondence from the State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance, our workers' compensation carrier. They have distributed to us and to a number of other municipalities that have been served by Comp Alliance and a loyalty check. And with that communication came a check in the amount of $2,952. And we appreciate that. And Paula, has been applied to which account?
Well, we've received it and we're waiting for the board to accept it. We'll deposit it into a revenue account tomorrow.
Good. Then can I have a motion to accept this check in the amount of $2,952?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Dan, or any discussion on that? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Again, we are continuing with our committee reports, despite the fact that our committees are not meeting in person. We'll start with Community Services Committee and our chair, Robin.
Thank you, Bill. And this Afro-Caribbean wants to wish everybody a happy Black History Month. The Community Services Committee was not scheduled to meet in the intervening time since the last town board meeting, but as usual, I do have some updates from our department heads. From our Recreation Department, the Winter Spring 2021 Recreation Program registration is ongoing. New programs are being added frequently, so do check the website, your email, and the Recreation Department Facebook page to stay up to date with all of our latest happenings. We'd love to have you join our online community. February break programs are upcoming. The February break will be here before you know it, and classes are filling quite quickly, but there are still spaces left in our youth fencing program, our volleyball, and our babysitter training classes. All programs follow strict health and safety guidelines. We have small group sizes and activities are offered to keep everyone safe and happy. So we do hope you take advantage of our February break programs. Our spring events are coming up, so stay tuned for announcements regarding our upcoming St. Patrick's Day and Spring Bunny events. Details are being finalized, and again, we're hopping with excitement about them. Our Brighton seniors continue to provide grab-and-go style meals each week as part of the Monroe County Nutrition Program. We anticipate that this program will continue well into 2021. And under the auspices of the program, you can order ahead pre-packaged meals that are available to seniors age 60 and up. Meal pickup is conveniently located at Brighton's very own Brookside Recreation Center. So please contact us for full program details and to place your order. The number to do that is 585-784-5260, extension 0. Please leave your name and phone number, and we will follow up with all of the details. Our Brighton Farmers Market is now closed for the winter season. Reopening plans will be announced in the spring of 2021, so check back in March for reopening details. And in the meantime, you can follow us at the Brighton Farmers Market website for updates. That website is www.brightonfarmersmarket.org. And again, through our recreation program, we have several programs of interest, including dog training, lifetime fitness programs, a video art series, fencing, sculpting clay, rock climbing, horseback riding, gentle yoga, and so much more. So we look forward to a great 2021. Our recreation program updates will be communicated again via email, the town website, and Recreation Department Facebook page. So check us out. And then an update from our Parks Department, we are finally out of the orange designated zone. However, after thoughtful consideration and discussion, the Parks Department and town have decided that rental facilities will remain closed for the time being. But that determination will be reevaluated on a monthly basis. Factors such as past compliance issues and winter weather forcing everyone to remain inside of the facility, and our occupancy for lodges being at half capacity or no more than 45 people, in other words. Those factors ultimately played a part in the decision. And as I mentioned, that determination will remain under evaluation as circumstances continue to evolve during this pandemic. We have recommended an internal promotion for the full-time park position that was vacated. There's a resolution on the agenda for this evening's town board meeting. If this anticipated transition proceeds smoothly, we will need to fill a part-time permanent vacancy position as a result of this promotion. We continue to work with the urban forestry group led by George Smith to identify, plant, protect, and maintain various park trees. We are anticipating kicking things off in 2021 with a small Arbor Day event. We will be focusing our efforts on trail maintenance and have identified multiple areas in our trail system that need maintenance work. Unfortunately, the COVID restrictions placed on staff this summer and into the fall limited our ability to complete various trail maintenance projects. Despite that, parks and trails continue to be heavily utilized as passive and active recreational options. Park staff are busy with inventory, preventative equipment maintenance, along with various other projects that have been identified on our ongoing maintenance schedule. And we are continuing to identify potential capital improvement projects for future budget input. We'll also continue to receive a large volume of spring athletic field requests. We'll once again be requiring groups to strictly observe our COVID-19 policies, as well as any state mandates that are issued. New York State has lifted the ban on high-risk sports such as basketball and volleyball. As a result, we will be reinstalling the basketball rims and volleyball nets in the parks. We continue to monitor and evaluate our department COVID-19 policy to keep both staff and the community safe as we reopen our facilities. An update to our CCA program, the news continues to be good on the CCA front. If you've not already opted out of CCA, you'll soon be receiving a welcome letter from Source Power, our supplier for the CCA, and for our community solar subscribers. Within Brighton, we've had over 700 accounts that have enrolled in the community solar program. And soon after the solar credits start appearing on customer bills, Source Power, our supplier, will issue money to the town of Brighton from our subscriptions to be used towards sustainability efforts. The Sustainability Oversight Committee and town staff will be thinking about potential sustainability projects towards which those funds can be applied. And so we thank you for your participation and we hope that you continue to support our community solar program. NYSERDA has finally released the grant funding for clean energy communities guidelines, and it is great news for Brighton as renewable electric supply CCA is worth the highest amount of priority, 2,000 points. This year, these grants are limited in number based on population size and the number of points earned. So our prospects are looking good considering that we have implemented that CCA. In update to our IDEA board, the board will be meeting virtually tomorrow, Thursday, February 11th, to further discuss launching its resource website for the town of Brighton and also work on the draft of the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Action Plan. Again, our next meeting of the Community Services Committee will be canceled. It was scheduled for Thursday, February 18th, 2021. That is a special day, but we will not be meeting in person. Thanks, Bill. That's all I have.
Thank you, Robin. Jason, Finance.
Yes, Bill, in accordance with the rest of our committees, the Finance and Administrative Services Committee has not met. However, a list of action items was circulated amongst the town board members with supporting documentation in advance of tonight's meeting. And each of those items appear on our agenda tonight and will be discussed and voted on in further detail. Our next meeting would have been held on Tuesday, February 16th. However, that meeting has been canceled. Stay tuned. Thanks.
Thank you, Jason. Christine, Public Safety.
So Public Safety was to have met yesterday, but of course did not. I have one update from Brighton Volunteer Ambulance. Chief Cody Dean sent the following news. Calls for service in January of this year, there were 565. It is notable that in 2020, there were 5,798. And as I read that now, I want to double check with the chief if that's for the year total or for the month of January of 2020. It's not clear to me as I
Yes.
see that.
That would be for the year total.
That's what I think now too. He notes that they were able to close up some of the lost volume, ending the year 2020, 11.2% down from 2019, or a loss of 729 calls, which roughly equates to 510 billable calls for service. He notes that until the percent positive rate of COVID cases drops below 5%, Brighton Volunteer Ambulance is continuing to restrict public activities for staff and community safety. That includes trainings and the loan closet. Despite the meteoric drop in call volume through 2020, Brighton Volunteer Ambulance finished the year with a record 614 calls for service in December, and volume was on pace to slightly exceed 2019 numbers in January. Staff that elected to receive the COVID-19 vaccine came in at 81%, and all were scheduled and completed fully in the beginning of February. And that's very good news for the staff and the community who interact with them. We are continuing, Brighton Volunteer Ambulance is continuing their full complement of COVID precautions, including universal masking, pre, mid, and post-shift temperature screenings, decontamination, and so forth for this foreseeable future. Calls for COVID-related complaints continue to be prominent, but seem to be lessening slightly. As Brighton is a hub for medical facilities, Brighton Volunteer Ambulance has encountered a number of requests for services out of the medical facilities. So this is not necessarily an indication of the COVID activity specific to the town of Brighton. Brighton Volunteer Ambulance participated in Brighton Central School District's new family reception, which was a very nice event put on by the district for new families. And they extend kudos to the district for hosting a remote event so successfully. Brighton Volunteer Ambulance continues to be an active participant in the school district's safety committee as well. The district has done an excellent job staying on top of the changes and expectations related to managing safety for COVID protection for the community. And last, he notes that a significant concern on the Brighton Volunteer Ambulance radar currently is COVID fatigue, or the burnout of providers working in the continual operating environment where COVID is difficult to escape. He notes that they are seeing more calls out and doing more to encourage and enhance self-care opportunities, and consideration of the providers would be very welcome. They don't get the chance to refuse to go on requests for service. It's hard work, and they are dedicated to serving the community, even when it takes a toll on them individually and collectively. So we appreciate all that BVA is doing for us. If COVID were to miraculously disappear in the next few weeks, the next meeting of the Public Safety Committee will be Tuesday, March 9th, although that's not likely to happen. So in the meantime, if there are any concerns of the community about public safety matters, they can be sent to any of the committee members. Contact information is on the town website at townofbrighton.org/public safety committee. That is all. And
Thanks, Christine. Oh, sorry.
I realize I breezed right over giving Chief Catholdi an opportunity to provide any update directly.
Thank you. I did send out some updates via Twitter. I know the town supervisor shared some with Facebook. And on the same theme of Brighton Volunteer Ambulance, they retrained everybody in CPR and first aid. They did that for us. The last 2 weeks of January, and we did our annual in-service training. We did a block on racial diversity training that was hosted by Dr. Tosh Smith from RIT. We're continuing to build upon our de-escalation training and building that into other components of our training. Mental health first aid, we were retrained during that week of training. We brought Campaign D in, which is a group that helps raise awareness to those who have autism. And I can say, at least on my behalf and everybody in the department, that was the highlight of the training, to meet some of those folks, very dynamic individuals. That was a highlight of our training. We should soon have updates on both the community survey that closed last Sunday, and I should be hearing more relatively soon on the Roberts Wesleyan survey, because that's closed. And as soon as I get that information, I will be certainly willing to share, and will advocate for that being shared with the town board and the community.
Thank you, Chief. You and your team are never, ever at a loss for activity and continual improvement. So thank you for the update.
Yeah, thanks, Christine, and I'll second your praise for BVA, their work on the front lines, ongoing during COVID, obviously as well, the work of the police department on the front lines, dealing with the whole range of issues, and I do appreciate the training work and the breadth and depth of the areas that you addressed in your training this year. Finally, Chris, Public Works Committee.
Thanks, Bill. We've been unable to meet. However, Commissioner Guyan has kept us abreast of where the department stands. They continue to assist in the operation of the rapid COVID test site at Temple Frith Codish that you mentioned previously, which is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The time has been changed to 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And they schedule approximately 300 to 325 tests per day. And please go to the county website at monroecounty.gov to make an appointment. And appointments can be made starting on Friday before the testing week. New York State Department of Environmental Environment has notified the town that the Climate Action Plan and the Multiversity Plan funding contracts are available for signature. And that the town staff will begin to finalize the request for qualifications for consultants to assist with these studies. The town has also issued the certificate of substantial completion for the barn renovation at the farmers market as the interior work, and it's come along terrifically. It's in great shape. The sidewalk maintenance contract has been advertised and is available for contractors to review, and a copy of the documents can be obtained on the town's website for any interested bidder. Street lighting and maintenance bids were open today, and staff will review the bids and present a recommendation at the February 24th meeting. And obviously the big lift is snow plowing and ice abatement. Mike, any additional information we need, or recommendations or requests?
Just people sometimes just need to be a little patient. We're particularly in the large storm events. We're going to get around. We'll get the roads cleaned. We'll get them to. We'll get the snow removed. We'll get them to black as soon as we can. I think that last snowfall event, the guys did an exceptional job. Woke up in the morning and there was no snow on the roads whatsoever. It was done very, very well, very quickly. I truly appreciate our guys' efforts there. They worked through the night, and they will continue to do that work. We anticipate, I don't see much for the weekend here, but like Bill said, like the supervisor said, I do anticipate there's going to be some sort of snow event next week, and we'll be ready. We'll get after it.
Great job, Mike. Thank you. Nothing further, Bill.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, the men and women at Highway really do a great job through the summer. They come off of a tough fall season, picking up leaves, and then in a normal year, jump right into the snow and ice removal. Two very busy times of the year for them, and they do great work. Thank them for all of us. Just one reminder, obviously, on-street overnight parking is not allowed So please remember to take your cars off the street between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. On-street parking is not allowed, whether or not there's snow on the ground. So just please remember, bring your cars in. Our plow drivers, when they have to maneuver around you, we had a situation near sort of in East Brighton where someone had been parked on the street, plowed in. It can be a bad situation for you, but obviously it makes the plow driver's job that much more difficult, and all the other drivers. So no on-street parking overnight. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Jason, reading and approval of claims.
Yes, Bill, earlier today, I reviewed claims totaling $5,800,076.48. Notable claims include to the Brighton Fire District in the amount of $5,139,374.19, representing the final payment for 2021 real property taxes collected by the town during January and February. Also to American Rock Salt Company in the amount of $60,181.29, representing purchase of road salt under New York State contract pricing for the 2021 season. Also to CDWG Computer Center in the amount of $22,788.60 for the purchase of 5 laptop computers and for Google Apps licensing for 2021 for all town employees and departments. Also to Conway Beam Truck Group in the amount of $255,843.74 for the purchase of a 2021 Mack large snowplow dump truck on contract for replacement of vehicle number 59 per the 2020 approved capital improvement plan. And finally, to Kenworth Northeast Group in the amount of $123,972 for the purchase of a small plow dump truck on contract for the replacement of vehicle number 40 per the 2020 approved capital improvement plan. The claims all appear to be in order, and I move that they be approved.
Second, Robin.
Thank you, Jason and Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Robin, the next item, please.
Certainly. The next item seeks to approve the promotion of a part-time cleaner to a full-time grounds equipment operator. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
Thank you. And just want to scroll down there. Adam Springer will be the new full-time grounds equipment operator. He has been working for us part-time for a few years. Dan is applauding. I feel the same way. He's a terrific young man, and we're happy to have him moving up to full-time.
Is a familiar name, Bill. Any relation to Pete?
I don't believe so. Is that right, Mike?
No, he's not related to Pete. Yeah, he's related to Tim Springer.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Chris?
Bill, the next item is to declare certain highway department equipment as surplus to be sold at auction. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Can I have a second?
Second, Jason.
Mike, anything to add to what's already in your communication?
No, Supervisor. It's stuff that had been programmed in our budget.
Yep.
Stuff we're trying to create some revenues.
Some of the dates all the way back to 1998, that old
Yes.
Mack dump truck.
Had a long life.
Yes, it's good. It's good. All right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. I have nothing further. Ken, matters of the town attorney?
I just have a couple litigation matters to update the board on in executive session.
Thank you. We'll be there shortly. Matters of the clerk, Dan. Matters of the town board. All right then. Can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment of a particular person, the acquisition of real property, and as Ken noted, some litigation matters?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second, Robin.
Discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Again, I do not anticipate coming out back into public session after the executive session. The next meeting of the town board will be 2 weeks from tonight, February 24th at 7 o'clock, again held remotely. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you for participating. Stay safe.